Welcome to Health Coach for Women. Intentional living for more happiness and fulfillment in your everyday life with your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker. Join Marsha as she shares her own personal wellness journey, as well as stories from our guests that will enlighten and inspire you to move towards better health and happiness. Now, here's your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Health Coach for Women, a podcast where we explore alternative and holistic solutions for better health and wellness. And I am your host, Marsha. Now, today I'm talking about an interesting topic, okay? Dr. Sebi's alkaline diet. But before we get started, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel. All right, and don't forget to like, share at the end of the podcast. Okay, so today I want to talk to you about Dr. Sebi's alkaline diet, the truth about Dr. Sebi's alkaline diet. Now, he is the topic of a lot of controversial conversation, but I do want to read you something. Of course, you know I love quotes, and so I'm going to read you this quote. "I'd rather you hate me for telling you the truth than love me for me lying to you." That is by Dr. Sebi himself. And the similarity with that is that I am the same way. I'm the type of person who wants to know the truth, whether it hurts or not. Tell me the truth, even if it hurts. And so this is his quote. Now, for those of you who may not know who Dr. Sebi was, okay, because he's no longer with us, he was an engineer by career, okay? He was an engineer, and he suffered some different illnesses and things like that. And he came across he met someone who helped him on his journey to wellness and everything, helped him with about herbs, healed him from his different illnesses, I believe, such as diabetes and different things like that, and impotence. And he's talked about it many times. And he was able to help. This man taught him herbs and taught him all about healing and herbs. And from that is how he started on his journey on helping others. Now, what I want to talk about is that he promotes healing. And then if you do the research, I don't really want to go too much off into other things, like what some people debate. Well, he's not a doctor. He didn't have a degree. He didn't go to school. Well, how many people who have or became actors, or I mean, I know it's a big difference of comparison, but how many people do you know who became actors who never went to acting school, right? And so the difference is with being a doctor and a herbalist is that you're giving your patients herbal treatments, herbal remedies. There's no patent on what nature, what the creator of all has created. There's no patent on that. Right? It's natural herbs. This is natural healing. And so by him learning and studying herbs, he was able to help many people from different illnesses, from lupus, diabetes, high blood pressure, impotence, AIDS, cancer, you name it. Okay. And in his case, he went to court and he won his case that went to the Supreme Court. And people will talk about that and dispute all of these different things. But the fact of the matter is that whether people want to believe the truth or not, this man did make an impact, especially for our people in the African American community, because when it comes to health and wellness and healthcare, it's as if we don't have a voice. And I've spoken with many different people where, you know, they've gone to the doctor and everything is just basically, you know, just prescribe a pill, just give you a pill, you know, or telling you what's best for you, and you read these side effects and they're more harmful than the actual disease or whatever you're dealing with. at that time. And so, and I'm going to give you a perfect example of that. Someone I know, they're diabetic, and their doctor actually prescribed them. I forgot the name of the medicine, but I don't want to mention the name of the medicine either. They were prescribed a medication, and one of the side effects was may cause death. Okay, not may cause skin irritation or upset stomach, may cause death. So why would any doctor even prescribe something to someone that it may cause death? So this is the debate here where I'm saying you're talking about pharmaceutical companies where they have a vested interest in you staying sick, right? They have a vested interest in you staying sick. And you know, some of the doctors, they have these people that go out and salespeople that, that go out and want to help to promote these new medications and things like that. And I'm not saying all medication is bad. Me personally, I prefer the natural way of things, right? But it's looking at what we can do to prevent. What can we do to prevent or to prevent illness and disease? And so this is where diet comes in. This is where diet comes in. And if we can prevent illness and disease, then problem solved, right? But we know that, people, sometimes we don't like to change. Sometimes we don't like change. But if it means not being on medication anymore, if it means where now you're not relying, now you're taking, instead of this one pill that you were taking for this one thing that caused some side effects, it later caused side effects, and now you're taking medication for those things that cause a side effect. I mean, it just goes on, right? It goes on and on. So we need to get back to nature and the natural way of things, the natural way of healing. And this is what Dr. Sebi has done for us in the African-American community, right? And he talks about different foods, he talks about different herbs and healing people through these herbs, healing them with changing their diet, right? And what the alkaline diet, it consists of, now getting into that, what it consists of, it's no meat, right? It does not contain meat. And so for many of you who want to eat meat, it's a personal choice, right? It's a personal decision. Can you still be healthy by eating meat? Yes, and everything is in moderation and depending on how much you're eating and what you're eating, what type of meat you're eating. All of these things matter and make a difference. But focusing on Dr. Sebi's alkaline diet, it does not consist of meat, okay? His alkaline diet consists of natural plants, herbs, and fruits and vegetables. And that is what it consists of. And it's by following these protocols where you are able to heal the body, because the body can heal itself. Okay, the body's goal is to maintain homeostasis, right? And homeostasis is just another word for balancing itself out, so to speak. And we know that disease cannot survive in an alkaline environment. Cancer grows in an acidic environment. Okay, cancer grows in an acidic environment. And so what are the things that causes disease, right? And his theory and philosophy is that it's mucus. All right. And so do we have mucus in the body? We have a regular level of mucus in our body naturally in the body. Yes. But an overproduction of mucus is not good. It's just like perfect example is when you get a cold, right? You're coughing and sneezing, and sometimes you're bringing up phlegm, right? Which is mucus. So an overproduction of mucus is not good. All right. And that's where you have the inflammation, chronic inflammation, and things like that. So these things, and when you know about inflammation, is that it does damage the cells. Now, it can be reversed. It can be reversed, right? But you do have to work on following your diet. Now, if you're having chronic inflammation, you need to work on that because your body is constantly being inflamed. And what's happening is it's also affecting the other cells around that area as well. So it's not just that one area, right? You may feel the pain in that one area, but it impacts the other cells as well. And so you can revitalize your cells through food. And that's why he talked about electric foods, right? Electric foods, and we are electric. So we want natural herbs that comes from the ground, that comes from the plants, the natural things that we eat that is grown out of the ground, right? With no interference from man. These are the things that we're looking at as far as the natural herbs and healing and maintaining an alkaline diet. And so when we say diet, we're talking about a lifestyle, right? It's not something you do for about a month or two and then that's it. You want to maintain that lifestyle. And for those of you who are eating beef and things like that, eating meat, things like that, you definitely want to make sure you are consuming organic products. You know, what are those animals eating? What are they eating? Are they eating the GMO corn? What are they eating? Are they eating things that normally they wouldn't eat naturally? Right. And so you do need, this is what you need to know. And when it comes to beef, grass-fed beef. And there's been study on this where they say that the consumption of beef causes cancer. Right. And I tell anybody, do your due diligence, right? Do your due diligence, do your homework, do your studies and your research for yourself. I'd like for you to hear a few words on Dr. Sebi and what he had to say. And he talked about these electric foods. Let's go ahead and play a clip.
I then decided to do research of my own to see what it is that I could have helped humanity with, whether I would do it as good as Alfredo Cortez or add to what he was teaching me. And he did. Genetics is very important because here Mr. Pablo Arriola is showing us that if your ancestors are from Africa, that your body is not programmed to digest milk, so there must be a difference with the African race and any other. There is a connection with diet, geography, environment. Of course, there is a very close connection, but this connection was not really identified with prior healers. You see, to heal, you have to put into motion everything that makes up this whole cosmic arrangement. If one component or one area is omitted, then naturally you will run into some trouble. According to nutrition, in reference to nutrition, we have to now use substance that everybody eats, but we have to select from that group of foods that we call foods, the green leafy vegetation that would do the least amount of harm to the individual. Because we know that the compounds that was constructed using the herb from the tropics would deliver the kind of nutrients and energy that the body really needs. And these other things that we recommend, such as the broccoli and the lettuce or spinach, you know, we also recommend the quinoa. These things are merely to satisfy those 400 years of conditioning, because we are people that like to eat now. But we are faced now with a catch-22, as we call it, that if we want to eat the food that we like, we're going to get sick. And if we want to eat the food that we should eat, that the African American should not consider at any time is carrots, because it's a high level of starch. And because our genetical structure is so high in carbon, we are very sensitive people. So whatever there is that is inconsistent with us, it would have an adverse effect on us. Immune container.
Now he talked about, you know, the electric foods and foods naturally that from your environment makes a difference. And he talked about genetics, right? So your environment, what you eat in genetics makes up your whole composition of yourself, right? And so when we are not used to eating certain fruits, if you're from a certain region, you know, because certain places, foods aren't grown in certain regions. So as for milk, for example, why are African Americans more lactose intolerant, right? And I'm not saying they're the only ones, but for the most part, lactose intolerant, right? And so some people, you can't consume milk, so you want to definitely just start being more mindful. Okay, just start being more mindful on what you consume. And again, prevention is the best medicine. I can't stress that enough. Prevention is the best medicine. And can you heal naturally, okay, from the current diseases and illnesses that's out there with the right herbs and medicine and healing and mindset training? Okay, yes, you can. Yes, you can, because your body is always working to keep you not only safe, but healthy, because the goal is to keep you alive, right? Keep you alive for a term appointed. So with that, I'd like for you to check this out.
Imagine this. Anybody in this room, if I could say, hey, somebody cured AIDS, y'all be like, yeah, right.
Man, it ain't been 24 hours. We got to pick up the baton and run it across the world. Look at all these tweets.
Please watch over and protect Nick if he gonna take over where Nipsey left off.
He offered cures for incurable diseases. He offered hope and life to those about to die.
What they will do with AIDS is the same thing they do with everything else. They will figure out a way for you to live with.
This is how the healthcare hustle works. We bring you in, you're sick, we start you on treatment protocols that are many times more toxic than what we're treating you for.
It just is mind-numbing to see how we can allow people like this to come among us, poison us, and then live comfortable lives.
He's an immigrant from Honduras who never went to school, college, or medical school. Yet the man known as Dr. Sebi claims to have found the cure for several life-threatening diseases, including AIDS. Too good to be true? Well, you be the judge.
He made black people question the information that they were getting from their very own medical doctors.
We have been misled not only by the foreigners that are not part of our race, but we were also hoodwinked by our brothers that was trained by those people.
Dr. Sebi did not have to go through university systems once he realized that the knowledge was all around him, that he was walking over medicine.
All right, so we here at TASO, the AIDS support organization in Uganda, try to get some answers.
When I told my mama that I had cured my 13 AIDS patient, she said, they're gonna get you.
But today, a Brooklyn man who masqueraded as a doctor has been arrested by the state attorney general.
Can you cure AIDS?
I have cured AIDS many times, sir, and I can cure AIDS again and again.
AIDS has been cured by the Usha Herbal Research Institute.
So if Sebi or the Usha Research Institute cure AIDS, who cure AIDS? The black race or Sebi? It is the black race.
Dr. Sebi had brought so many levels of healing to our community. He, like many other could have for surely been a target of powers that be.
There is a group of people who do not want everyone to be here.
We have cures for a lot of things, but that's not what keeps America going.
So who's the real problem here? Is it Sebi, or is it some pharmaceutical company that is willing to exploit us?
This man has not objectively shown what he does. I would say he either deserves a Nobel Prize or a term in jail, and I vote for the latter.
So when I found out about Sebi, and it's about his case.
Oh, yeah.
You know, niggas was tweeting me, Hustle, be careful, man. Your plane gonna go down. I say, niggas better ride for me.
Anybody watching this, I want people to take Nipsey's lessons. So I don't want none of us to be afraid.
Anything that interferes with their omnipotent need to own and control everything is a danger and will be eliminated.
Now, how powerful was that? How powerful was that? I'm really hoping that Nick Cannon will be able to finish this documentary. And the last time that I heard on an interview is that he was still doing the documentary. He was still working on, and they're doing a lot of research, and they're debunking and they're asking the questions that people want to know, right? Because he was not a medical doctor, right? And again, he never claimed to be a medical doctor. He's an herbalist who the people just end up calling him Dr. Sebi, and the name stuck. So With that, I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope with the information that you have, that you make mindful choices. Okay, make mindful choices in what you choose to consume. Prevention is the best medicine. When you know better, you do better. Until next time, bye for now.
Thank you so much for listening to Health Coach for Women with your host, Marsha Roopchand-Walker. If you've enjoyed this podcast, please be sure to rate, subscribe, and review on your preferred podcast listening platform. We really appreciate that effort. Until next time.